Merry Christmas, good sir.
Merry Chrysler.
Because it's actually on Christmas right now for everybody listening.
When this will be uploaded, yeah.
Oh, well, I highly doubt anyone's tuning into the old Critically Average podcast on Christmas Day. But if you are,
thanks.
Thank you, loyal listener.
Yes. I mean, I might try to squeeze it in road trip.
I probably will, yeah. I have a lot of places to drive through over Christmas, so that's what happens when you meet people and do things.
And you keep moving further away from family.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a longer drive.
Yeah, exactly, true. Yeah, because we're going from all the way in, where Megan lives, which is probably about 15 from here.
Right.
To our old place that we used to live.
Yep.
So that's a 30, 45-minute drive, depending on how much traffic. But listen, Christmas, it'll be empty. And then we got to go all the way to, you know where the North Carolina Zoo is? Asheboro.
We
got all the way there.
Nice.
So it's going to be 2 hours of driving on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Doo-doo.
That should be fun.
Well, speaking of Christmas.
Yes.
I think we have Christmas presents for each
other.
We do. And I asked you before, I said, are they pop culture? You just looked at me like I'm an idiot. Like, duh. So who wants to go first?
You do.
Okay. I'll go first. Okay. It says, to Will from Elijah.
Yes. It is. It's in a Polo Ralph Lauren bag, but it's not from there. And also didn't have tissue paper. Just keep that in mind.
That's fine. So. I could care less. Okay, I hope you don't want this bag back, because No, I don't. I'm wrecking it. Okay. Oh, nice tissue paper. For all those listening, you might be able to tell it's
grocery bags.
I'm actually keeping these.
Oh, do you need some?
Yep.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh my God. It's a legitimate infinity gauntlet. Oh, it's a bank.
Yeah.
Dude, what the heck? This is awesome.
Yeah, man.
Holy crap. Do you mind if I do something to it?
No, I was gonna tell you, like, because it's like the correct size of like your fist. If you want to like cut it out.
No. I like it. I like that it's a bank. It's just all one gold. So I'm gonna weather it to make it look like it's real. Okay. Oh, dude, this is sick. This is so freaking cool.
Sweet.
Thank you.
No problem.
I love the gems. They're like actually correct, like comic book correct. Yeah. That's awesome. Yep. That's going like probably on top of that where that plant thing is.
That dead plant? Yes.
It's a cactus. And it's dead. If you can kill a cactus, Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
My turn. It is a tubular gift. It says, to my co-host from Will.
That's me. I'm Will.
Did you forget my name?
What?
Did you forget my name?
That's just why I call you pal and friend.
Hey, bud.
Hey, big guy. We used to have a teacher in high school that, like, he used to tell us, if you ever forget someone's name, just call him Big Guy.
What is this?
Red Buble. Ooh, Michael Bublé.
I like that shit.
I like that shit.
Okay. It's a poster. I haven't unfolded it yet, but I get the idea what it is. It's an office poster.
Yep.
Yes. With a bunch of quotes and pictures from The Office. That's it. That was loud. Sorry.
That was loud.
But this is sick.
Thank you.
That is cool.
It's like a bunch of panels of like minimalistic.
Yeah, we got
things.
Shroot Farm Beats, the Nard Dog, the Face of Dwight, the World's Best Boss Mug, Jim and Pam, the bobbleheads, the stapler, and the Jello.
And then like the company logo.
Yeah.
And you missed the best one in the top right.
Oh, Battlestar Galactica. Nice.
Says Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah, it does. But it's got a bear and a beat. That's why. That's sick, dude. That's what she said. Great.
No way. I didn't even see that one.
Yeah, down on the bottom.
Perfect.
That's lit. Thanks, man.
No problem. And it said it was going to be here on the 24th.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I hope it shows up during the podcast. That would be funny. But it came like 4 days early.
Oh, that's good.
All yours. All right.
Sweet.
Another successful year of Christmas giving. Oh, it's sticking.
Uh-oh.
It's stuck. There we go.
There we go. Gotta roll it tighter.
Just gotta do the old shimmy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this takes me a while. You want to introduce ourselves?
Yeah, this is a Critically Average podcast. This is number 14, I think. Yep, and we're doing Aquaman today. Mm-hmm. So this will come out on Christmas. So it came out on the 21st. We went the other day. And so hopefully you guys have had a chance to see it by now. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, Castos, and Elijah posts stuff on Twitter occasionally under Podcast Average.
Yep, I'm still rolling. Hold on. Not a very good roller.
Do you want some help?
Nope. Go. I got it.
And you ruined it again. It's okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine like that.
Well, we'll put the thing back on it just in case.
The sleeve?
Huh?
The sleeve?
Yeah, the top.
Oh, the cap?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Just in case the cat comes in here or something.
Well, he ain't coming in here.
No.
He's in trouble.
Right. Careful.
There you go. Nice. Now that is a tight roll, my friend.
Yeesh. Did it come in the tube like this?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to wrap it in that?
Mm-hmm.
How difficult was?
That's easy. I love wrapping tubes. I think it's easier than boxes. Because at the top and the bottom, you just kind of like and just put a piece of tape. Whereas boxes, you have to do that fancy like tuck the corners and shit.
Oh, God, I hate that. Yeah.
You know what I hate about wrapping? So you take a box, right? And you bop.
Yep.
And you tape it on the seam. Okay? And then you do the edge thing. And every single time I do the edge thing, I bring the edge up. And the wrapping paper like buckles and creates this like bubble on the seam. Like, how do you prevent that from happening?
You have to get it like perfectly cut and folded where there's no like. It's got to be like on the whatever box or whatever it is.
And you probably need thicker paper that will actually fold to the creases. Whereas the paper, if you pull it any tighter than like just a little bit, it will just rip and tear. Do you get a little sticker?
Yeah,
it's got a sloth on it too. Can I have the other one?
This one?
No, the other sticker.
Oh, there's two?
Yeah. Oh, Redbubble's a sticker company that expanded into like other stuff. I actually sell on Redbubble.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Do you want this bow back?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I got it from Target for like $2. Sweet. All right. Moving on. I got no movie news. I didn't even look.
I don't.
To be honest,
really go on my way to look for it.
Christmas, that's what. There's a lot of Christmas movies coming out though.
Yeah, man, it came out of nowhere. I told you this one when to see Spider-Man the first time. Like they listened to your complaining that one week on our show, and they started making good movies this year.
Oh yeah. Kind of. They started making good ones, but they also produced the shit like What Men Want. And which I haven't seen. It may be, Oscar worthy, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say no.
It ain't.
But it's getting better.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, since you said that, a lot better movies come out.
For sure. For sure.
Compared to what already came.
Because this summer was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
There was just nothing good. Yep. Nothing of merit. Just a bunch of what's it called? Remakes of old movies and doo-doo. All right. You want to do the list?
Yep.
Okay. So we're doing top 5 actresses and using the grading scale of like you take all the movies that you've seen of theirs and you give them a plus for the ones that are good and a minus for the ones that are bad. And then your top 5 list is according to that. And I don't know if this is true for you, but if they tied, I just picked the one that I liked the most.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or whichever one had better movies. Like,
yeah, because my 4 and 5 tied.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have my 5, 4, 3, 2 tied. Like 5-4 tied and 3-2 tied.
Oh,
and then
okay.
one is like a mile ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
All right.
You
want to go first?
Yeah, I'll start. Actually, I had an honorable mention for this.
Okay.
I just haven't seen a bunch of her work.
Gotcha.
But the things I liked. But because she was in a franchise.
Okay.
It was Keira Knightley.
She's good.
Yeah, she was in all the pirate movies, or most of them, and then The Imitation Game.
Yep.
So.
True.
I just haven't seen
good.
a lot of her.
She's good in the Imitation Game as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I'll start with my number 5. I have Jennifer Lawrence. Okay. Well, so for the pluses, I have The Hunger Games, the first one. I haven't seen any of the other ones, so they're not.
Second one's all right, and third,
I haven't seen
and
them,
fourth
so
are bad.
I didn't put them on here. I got American Hustle, Days of Future Past and First Class. And then the downs, I have Passengers, Mother, and then X-Men Apocalypse.
So you've seen Mother?
I've seen enough of it.
Okay.
And I've heard so many bad things about it.
Okay.
So.
And then you've seen Passengers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was it? Oh, okay. I guess it was bad.
Sit
right?
down. So.
Okay. So what does that give her?
+1.
+1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha. So my number 5, which by the way, this has taken who I think is the best and put him at the bottom and other way around.
Oh, okay.
So this has no indication. I'll tell you which one's my actual list here in a minute because I have it the right way. Okay, so number 5 is Emma Stone.
Okay.
So her positives are La La Land, Easy A, Zombieland, Birdman, and The Help. Those are all pretty good. And then her bads are Zombieland 2, which is bad.
Right.
And then Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. So, yeah. So that gave her +2.
Okay.
And her bads are really bad, so.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
My number 4, I have Charlize Theron.
Yep.
All right. I haven't seen a whole lot of hers, but that's why she's so low. I got Mad Max, Fate of the Furious, and then The Italian Job as the ups. And then the downs, I have Hancock and A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen A Million Ways to Die in the West, but I've heard it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it's
it's a Seth MacFarlane movie.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's funny, but
it's just kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like no story.
Hmm.
All right. Cool. My number, what is this, 4?
Yeah.
Is Anna Kendrick. Which we all know
knew it.
We all know is not true. She's number 1 in my real heart. Okay, so her pluses are Accountant, Pitch Perfect number 1, and then End of Watch, 50-50. You ever seen 50-50?
Yeah, it's
with
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, and
Seth
Rogen, and he's got cancer.
Yeah,
he has a 50-50 chance. So then they start doing all that stuff. Yeah, and then The Voices.
Yeah, with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Those are her pluses. And then she was in Twilight.
She forgot she was. Do you know that?
Which, what?
She was on Twitter and said, "Holy crap, I was in Twilight?" She forgot she was even in Twilight.
I would forget that as well. But yeah, she was in Twilight. And then she was in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, which are both bad.
Right.
So, yeah. Twilight, the only reason I've seen that is because the school took us to go see it.
Really?
Yep. My middle school teacher was like all into Twilight, and so she took us to go see it.
That sucks.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
We went and saw the Hunger Games in high school.
Yep, because you read the book, right?
Yep.
Same thing with Twilight. She made us read the book. Well, she read it to us since we're in middle school, and it's a pretty big book.
Is that appropriate? No,
probably not. Probably not, but it was 8th grade, so
oh, okay.
You're kind of already there. But yeah.
Gotcha. All right. My number 3, I have Emily Blunt.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right. So for her ups, I went ahead and gave her an up for Mary Poppins Returns.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's fine and good, and her in it is probably really good. I know it's making some good money, so
I'm sure she plays that role really well.
Yeah. A Quiet Place.
Yep.
Sicario.
Yep.
And Edge of Tomorrow are the ups.
Yep.
And then the downs, I have The Muppets and Gulliver's Travels.
I haven't seen either one of those.
You haven't seen Gulliver's Travels?
No, what is that?
Jack Black, and he goes like this. He goes to the Bermuda Triangle, and he gets like sucked into this world where he's a giant.
I've never seen that. Well, wait, he gets sucked into a world and he's a giant?
Yeah, with a bunch of like tiny people.
What are you talking about? Hold on.
Are you gonna have to Google it real quick?
I'm gonna have like Gulver.
Yeah. Travels.
There's an I in there as well. Oh, I remember when this came out.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen this. Is it bad?
It's a Jack Black movie. So.
Hey, let go my blast.
Okay.
All right.
He peaked too soon with not.
That's good. Well, guess what? Guess what my number 3 is?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt.
Nice.
So I gave her. Listen, she has made a lot of movies, When I was like going through her thing, I was like, oh my gosh, like 90% of it I've never seen. But A Quiet Place, Edge of Tomorrow, Sicario, Looper. You ever seen Looper?
That's the one where they can jump, right?
Yeah. They can jump.
No, that's Skywalker? The one where... What is that? With Hayden Christensen?
No, heck no. No. Looper is the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and...
what am I thinking?
I can't remember that. You're thinking of Jumper.
Is it?
Yeah, it's called Jumper. It's a shit movie. You think they give it a good name? No. No, Looper's the one where Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the past version of the guy in Die Hard. Help me.
John McClane?
Yes, but the actor that plays him.
Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis, yes. He's a future version of him, and it's a time travel movie.
Oh, okay.
It's good. It's actually pretty good. And so she's in that. And then her down is The Adjustment Bureau. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
It's her and Mark Wahlberg. Not Mark Wahlberg. Jason Bourne.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, I'm spacing on names today. I don't know why. But Matt Damon. And it's not good.
Oh, okay.
It's lame.
Cool.
So, yeah, +3 for her.
Cool. All right, my number 2. This one's controversial because of her ups are, I would say, as widely considered as downs. But I went ahead and gave it to her. It is Natalie Portman. And do you know where I'm going with this?
Did you give her an up for Thor's?
One of them.
Okay, good.
But it's the prequels.
How many ups did you give her?
All 3.
Oh, what is wrong?
Not for the movies.
1 and 2, maybe.
Listen.
I mean, 1 and 3. 2 is garbage.
But her in them is fine. The movies aren't. Okay, this is my list, sir.
No. But this is the point. She's definitely better than Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She drives
her in them.
She drives it a lot better than
her and damn, we are blanking on names today. Obi-Wan,
Ewan McGregor
are consistent through those 3.
I would agree with that.
That's why you gave him.
I would say though in 2 she has some serious rough parts.
Well, the whole movie does.
Do you remember in 2 when they go to the lake?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and there's that whole like sexy scene.
In sand, yeah.
Like after the sand scene, they're inside and there's like a fire lit. That part is bad on both ends. Like and I think it's because she was just so awkward. Like she was like, "This is weird. Why are we doing this right now?" Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, I would agree with you. She's very good in those. And if there's any flaws, it's her writing.
Yeah,
and she delivers bad writing pretty well. Whereas Hayden Christensen gets bad writing and then delivers it like a rock, so it's like perfect.
I like sand.
All right.
Well, so I have the 3 prequels. Okay. Then I have the first Thor, and then V for Vendetta.
Okay.
And then the down is the Dark World.
Okay, that works.
So that gives her a +4.
Have you ever seen a Black Swan?
Mm-mm.
That's an interesting one. She never mind. I'm just
she gets like possessed, right?
Oh, she does some weird stuff. She does some weird stuff. Yeah. All right, my number 2 is Natalie Dormer.
Never heard.
You don't know who she is?
I don't think so.
Oh well, she's in Captain America: The First Avenger.
Did she play Peggy?
No, close. She has a very small role in that movie.
Oh.
She's mainly known for Game of Thrones.
I had a feeling.
So she is Marjorie Tyrell in Game of Thrones, who is without a doubt my favorite character for a long time. And then, spoiler alert, she dies.
Oh.
Everyone dies in that show. So, but yeah, she has the cute factor. Like, she's freaking adorable. But she's the private that kisses Cap.
The blonde one?
Yes, the blonde one when what's her face walks up.
Peggy,
exactly. So she's in that movie, which I'm gonna give her a +4, but she's literally in it for like 2 seconds. And then she's in Rush.
Uh-huh.
She actually has a good role in Rush, and then Game of Thrones, and then her downs are Mockingjay Part 1. She's in that movie. No bueno.
So what does I give her a plus?
+3.
Oh, okay.
So her and Emily Blunt both had +3, and then Emma Stone and Anna Kendrick both had +2.
Right. And then I'm almost certain we have the same number 1.
Do we?
I'm pretty sure.
Is she in like 1,000 movies?
Well, she has a +6 for me.
She has a +6 for me as well.
Okay.
Is it?
It is Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. This is again where like this grading system kind of screws you over because she has so many movies and I've seen so many of them, and it's just like yeah. So what'd you give her pluses for?
So I got Avengers.
Okay.
Avengers: Age of Ultron. Yep. Infinity War. Winter Soldier. Sing.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Okay. The Prestige and Civil War. Then the downs are Lucy and Hail Caesar.
Oh, she has +7 for me.
Oh, did you forget one?
Yep.
What'd you forget?
Don't worry about it.
The Prestige?
Maybe.
Traitor.
You missed one too.
I don't believe so.
Yes, you did.
What did I miss?
I'll tell you. So I have Avengers: Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Dawn John. Have you ever seen that?
So I didn't miss it.
No, that's not the one.
Oh, okay.
Loser.
Yeah.
I know the one you haven't seen. Civil War.
So I haven't seen
Her.
Haven't seen.
Chef.
Haven't seen.
You ready? SpongeBob movie.
The first one?
Yes.
I saw it on there, but I was like...
Count it.
She played the daughter of the mermaid?
Yeah, she played the daughter of, what's his face?
Neptune.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And then +7.
You're just mad because I was right.
I know. Just mark this day for you. First time podcast.
First time I've ever been right. Hey, you know what?
What?
We went through that entire list, and I didn't do the I left one off thing.
Well, this one, we had 2 of the same.
Yeah.
And it was a 5 list,
So my actual list, right, would go Anna Kendrick, Emma Stone, Scarlett Johansson, Emily Blunt, Natalie Dormer. Mm-hmm. So mine got all sorts of tossed up.
Because when I made my list, it went Charlize, I think Natalie, and then Scarlett, and then the other 2, Emily, and then Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
So it got a little messed up, yeah.
Gotcha. Scarlett Johansson has made, I've seen
a lot of movies.
2. Oh, I didn't tell her downs. Iron Man 2, Lucy, Ghost in the Shell, which I saw just the other day. It's garbage. And then The Jungle Book. I don't like that movie.
I haven't seen it, that's why. You haven't seen Hail Caesar?
Hail Caesar?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
Good.
Did you give it a down?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I won't go see it.
It was so boring.
You know what I'm waiting for it to come out so I can watch? Good Times at the Old El Real.
It's on Vudu. I don't think you can rent it yet. So
okay.
Close.
I'm waiting. It's almost here.
She's not in that though.
I know, but thinking about Hail Caesar made me think of like movies that I didn't see that looked interesting, and so that was one of them.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, because it's there to own, but you just can't rent it yet.
I ain't trying to buy it.
Yeah.
To watch it. I haven't seen it. All right, you ready?
Main topic time?
Ready to do this main topic?
Heck yeah.
I'm curious to see what you think about this, because
I'm going to say this. We have different opinions on it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, I'm not like in love with it, but...
Oh, okay, then we probably have the same opinion then.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's get started.
I'm thinking you're like pits of hell hatred.
No, absolutely not. No. I think the Rotten Tomatoes score for Aquaman, which is what we're talking about, is pretty exact on what it is.
What is it?
It's about 50%. Let me go look it up for sure. Last time I checked, it was like, 64. I think that's pretty accurate.
That's fair.
I think that's accurate. It's just a movie.
Well, I think that's saying just a movie is wrong. I think it's a comic book movie and not just a movie. Like, so Marvel, for instance,
I agree with that.
They're making a movie with comic book elements, where I think they went just all out on the comic book silliness.
No.
No? You
No.
don't think so?
No, I can explain why. I would say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a comic book movie. Not just because it has comic book theming,
no,
but because it follows.
I would completely agree with that.
Okay.
But I'm saying when they were making this movie, I would say they were more worried about being like comic accurate than trying to make like a award-winning movie or something like that.
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many Aquaman comics have giant underwater
Krakens
battles that, you know what I mean, with lasers and shit, and
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part where I think the plot and the and what was going on is accurate to a comic book until it hits like the battle scene. That scene just kind of threw me off. Like, I liked it. It was fun to watch, but I was like, this isn't like what would actually happen. You know what I mean?
You don't think so? In a comic book?
No.
Huh.
Comic books are more focused on characters rather than like, it's not impressive to have a giant battle scene in a comic book.
Oh, I get what
you're just drawing it. I mean, it's not like interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you need to focus more on characters than you do visuals. Which
I get what you're saying on that point.
Yeah,
but I was thinking like, what movie that isn't like comic books gonna have a giant battle?
That's
scene,
fair.
That's
fair.
That's what I was thinking. But you're right on the.
That's why I think it's 64. It's 64% good comic book movie, and then the rest of it's kind of like Hollywood bullshit. You know?
Yeah.
It at some points this movie reminded me of a Transformers movie.
No explosions, but yeah.
No, there was explosions.
There was.
There's a lot of underwater explosions, which really irk me. But
was it?
Oh yeah, there's a ton, dude. Every single time a ship runs into each other, they just blow up. Without a doubt. That. But it's not that big a deal. My biggest problem with this whole movie is the amount of focus on going to get a thing to save the world.
Yeah, I was thinking
which is like a Transformers thing. Like every single Transformers movie is we got to go get this thing so we can save the world. You know? And that was my biggest problem with it. Other than that, it's perfect. If it like, I think they would have really done better by him getting the trident and it doing nothing. Like it's just a regular ass trident.
Right.
And it does nothing for him.
Yeah. I was trying to think because they did make an emphasis in the movie. He says because it is they have to get this thing to stop the guy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop the guy on his own. But I'm not trying to defend it here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like he got it to help him.
That's
instead
fair.
of like the Transformers movies like we need this to stop everything or reverse everything.
That's fair. I think it would have been, I guess we're kind of getting into spoiler territory here, but I'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
But other than that, this movie looks good.
Oh, it looks great. We going into it, we knew it would.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the final battle scene has a little bit of like, it goes a little too far. It kind of sometimes it feels like a special effects like artist like just did whatever the hell he wanted. You know what I mean? He's like, ooh, I can do this. Let's try that. You know what I mean? But other than that, it looks good.
Yeah.
Everything looks realistic.
I'm trying to think. There's no like terrible CGI.
No.
I'm trying to think of
there's no like spongy like weird, and you know this movie had to be tough because they're all underwater. So I don't know how they did like, you know, them floating in water and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty good.
It all looked real. Yeah, and I bet it was really hard to decide like how are we gonna have people talk underwater because we can't just make air bubbles every time people want to talk.
Yep.
So they kind of just ignored the whole thing.
Yeah, which is fine. You know, like I don't care. I understand. Like they're water people. They can talk underwater.
Right.
You know, like whales and stuff shoot sound to each other underwater. It's not like impossible. I will say there are a few scenes where the underwater thing kind of made it bad. Like the biggest I can think of is when they capture, like Aquaman is in Atlantis, right? Mm-hmm. And King Orm is talking to him, and his voice is like echoey and boomy, and I couldn't hear a damn thing he was saying. Like I was really trying to focus. Like, what is he trying to say? And I got the gist of what was going on. Yeah. But I was like, I can't hear anything. You know, it's like it was just so echoey and loud. But that's about the only scene I can think of.
Right.
And I think that was a product of this setting. You know, it's because he's like projecting his voice to everybody that was watching. So, but yeah.
Well, do you want to, without spoiling, you want to talk about like what happened in the movie?
Yeah, like the story.
Yeah, the story.
What you got?
Well, let's see. It did some. I was thinking the whole time in this movie, I was like what we should name it sort of thing. Like if we had to rename it, I'd definitely call it like Aqua Bro or something.
Yeah, it kind of is kind of like, it's very bro-y. You know,
he's got like a hang loose sort of mentality going on.
Which, this is after Justice League, right?
Yeah, because they mentioned Steppenwolf.
That's fine then.
Helping.
That's fine. Because he definitely opened up in Justice League and became more fun. Because I was like, if this is before Justice League, it makes no sense. Because he is so brooding and dark in Justice League at the beginning, But no, it makes sense. It's good.
Yeah.
It is very bro-y. Like, he's very like, what's up, dude? Like, I'm swimming, man. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
Especially the one that you really like drives that home is the beginning scene where he drops into the it's in the trailers. He drops into the submarine. He is full on bro at that point. You know what I mean? He's just like, dude, permission to come aboard. You know what I mean? He's like, come on.
Yeah. So it opens up with him narrating basically his parents' forbidden love. And then it cuts to the submarine scene after the small intro and stuff.
Yeah, and you get to see Black Manta and his crew try to take over the submarine. This is before he's really Black Manta. Black Manta? Okay.
Yeah, before where he's just a sea pirate.
Yeah.
And then he goes back on shore. I'm skipping some details, don't want to spoil.
Yep.
And he talks with his dad in a bar, and then he's taking his dad home who was drunk. And then that's when he meets Mira again.
Yeah.
Which apparently they didn't know each other. Well, he's never been to Atlantis, but
well, she knows of him.
Yeah,
but he doesn't really know of her.
Because he asks what her name is and stuff.
Exactly. And so she basically tells him that King Orm is planning to attack the surface world for attacking him.
Yep.
And then so the movie plays out from there as they want to, Aquaman is a child from both Atlantis and the surface world, so he's trying to protect both. More the surface world than Atlantis, but later things change.
Yep.
So yeah, and it's pretty much an origin story and a coming of age kind of movie, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like coming into his throne, kind of. So.
Yeah, figuring himself out.
Yeah, figuring out what he wants to fight for, what who he is, and if he's worthy, really.
Yeah, because that was a big point throughout the movie.
Yeah,
they kept asking.
Like, I'm not a king. I'm a nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where realistically, I mean, they play this. Oh God, they push this so hard in some of the cheesiest scenes of all time. But he's probably the most fit to do it. Period, because he has experience of both. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he can bridge the gap between the two.
Yep.
But oh man, just the way they package that is so cheesy and lame. Ugh. All right. You want to get into spoilers now?
Yeah. Do you want to rate it first or rate it after?
We'll rate it after.
Okay. All right.
I would say go see it though.
Yeah, it was fine.
I would say go see it.
One thing's
it's a DC movie. It fits.
Would
in
you
the
say
realm
it's the best?
No.
Would you say Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman is still better, I think. I think Wonder Woman. I think the third act of this movie really just pushes it a little past. I think the first and second act, I was like, yeah, this is good. This is better than Wonder Woman. And then it just slides past.
Right.
Because Wonder Woman finishes strong.
Right.
Whereas this movie does not finish very strong. In my opinion.
I think one thing that really hurt it.
Yeah.
Like, if this was better, like the Rotten Tomato score would have been like at least 20 higher, is the dialogue.
Oh, we'll get into that in just a second. There's some parts that I want to talk about, but they're huge spoiler parts. So
yeah, because I could, every time like something like that happened, you just turn to me in like disbelief that they just said something.
Yeah, there are so many just lines of just kind of prequel level, like,
right,
what are we doing here? Like, come on, They need to borrow. I'm glad James Gunn. If this, I mean, this could be the end of it. To be honest, we don't know.
I saw some on Twitter yesterday that they finished shooting the next Wonder Woman movie.
Okay, I think they'll be all right. But if they keep producing lackluster stuff, then it'll probably end pretty soon. But I'm glad James Gunn is involved because he knows how to write. so he might be able to help them. You know what I mean? Like, kind of flesh out the writing so it's not as lame. But yeah, let's get into the spoilers.
Okay.
So when his mom comes back, that is probably the worst scene in the entire movie. That whole sequence is garbage, and there's so much dialogue in that sequence that it's just baffling. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just every single time she speaks, really, it's like, why?
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh.
It's kind of like every time she talked, she was just trying to further the plot.
Yeah,
everything she said was about what was going on.
Yeah, and she would go like, "Are you scared?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Good. That means you're smart." Like, and I'm like, how many fucking times have we heard that? Can we get over that shit?
Yeah.
And there are just there's just parts in this that are, the dialogue is just awful. One of the ones I can really remember at the beginning of the movie is when they name drop Black Manta. I was like, oh god.
Yeah, because in the submarine, Black Manta, he's a pirate with his dad.
Yep.
And his dad gave him this knife from his grandfather that called himself the Black Manta.
Yeah.
You know, and he gave it to him. So you're like, if you didn't know, he's Black Manta.
Which doesn't sound that bad, but it's like the grandiose monologue that the dad delivered to him is so fucking cheesy. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just hand him the knife and have him pull out. I like how he pulled out the hilt and there's a manta on the hilt. Just say, hey, this is your grandfather's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to give it to you because you've proven yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't say that exactly, but just kind of package it in that way. And then have him pull it out and see the manta. That's better to me than saying, and his name was Black Manta. It's like, I have a big problem.
Well, I get because you have to think, a lot of people don't know comics.
So,
you know?
They know he's a villain. They don't need to know, like,
I know, but
the name dropping is not going to help people that don't know the comics.
I know. But
because they're just going to given a name. They're like, oh, it's Black Manta, I guess. That's his name. I mean,
you just got to think, like, there's kids, and then there's some people that aren't as intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they can figure that out or something, you know?
Yeah. I'm fine with name dropping. Just do it better.
Oh, no, I'm not saying
Into
they did
Spider-Verse
it good.
is a good example of that. You know what I mean? The way they're like, all right, let's do this again. Hey, I'm Gwen's, you know what I mean? And then it's like, it's like a little quick origin of them, and it doesn't feel forced or beat over the head or anything like that. You actually want to see it. You know, you're like, oh, I'm interested to see how she came about or he came about, you know?
Right. And there's actually a really good scene in the submarine.
Yeah.
Where Aquaman's fighting all of them off, Black Manta and the dad and the rest of their pirate crew. Mm-hmm. And the dad tries to shoot at Aquaman, and he
hits him with a grenade launcher.
Yeah, he like deflects it, and it blows up a. What did he do? Did he like hit it back at him?
No,
he broke off a thing like a spear and threw it at him.
Yeah,
and then it like stuck him to the wall. You know, went through his shoulder.
Yep,
and then there was like an explosion that busted a hole in the side.
So what he does is Black Manta picks up the thing.
Yeah.
And tries to shoot at Aquaman, and he like lets go of the ladder and lets it hit the side of the ship, which blows out a hole.
Right. And then there's like a missile or something that lands on the dad.
Yep.
Who he's stuck and can't move, and then it's filling up with water. And then Black Manta asks Aquaman to help and save his dad, and Aquaman let him die. Which was, you know, a big thing for someone that's supposed to be a king, you know, and a hero.
Someone's supposed to be a hero, and he just kind of let him die.
But you can tell he kind of regretted it.
Yep.
Especially afterwards, he's like, I've made an enemy now because of that.
For sure. I think I have a problem with Black Manta in this movie.
Okay.
And I told you the end credit scene is him coming back. Like, he gets picked up by the
Doctor.
Something. Does he have a name?
Yeah, but I can't remember it.
He's the guy on the news that's like saying he knows that Atlantis exists. Yeah. And so he picks him up and takes him to his secret lair, right? I don't care. I didn't care about Black Manta at all in this movie, and he's literally just shoehorned in there. Like, what? If Black Manta is taken out of this movie, just delete him. I understand it's going to be like an hour and 40 minutes long, but just delete him, right? Does he have any impact on the movie whatsoever.
Well, remember, Orm helped him to start the war, or like to get the other nations of Atlantis on Orm's side because he sent that submarine to attack him.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying he hired him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if that didn't happen, Orm would have never gotten the support of the other tribes underwater.
That's fair. I mean, I just feel like it was kind of like a Spider-Man situation where they went, let's throw a villain, because Orm is not really a villain. Like, he is, but like he's his brother, so it's not like a huge villain. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the end, they're all kind of like buddy. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, put him in a cell somewhere he has a view. It's like they want him to be good. And you can tell he's learned his lesson at the end, right? So then they're like, okay, well, we need like a villain that's like a villain. Like, he's just mean throughout the whole thing. So they just went and got Black Manta, which is probably one of the most known villains of Aquaman. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, those two, I would say. I don't know any other ones, really.
Exactly. So they just kind of shoehorned both of his villains in the one movie. Yeah. And that fight scene in Sicily or Italy or whatever, it's just garbage. It's just bad.
Oh, you didn't like it?
That's lame. Huh. Black Manta just gets his ass kicked again. He puts Aquaman down once, and then Aquaman just beats his ass after that.
Try to remember. Because
he hits Aquaman at first, and it like really does some damage to him. Like,
and he stabs him,
burns him.
He stabs him, burns him. He's hunting him down the whole time.
Yeah.
And then, try to remember, they get to like that town center sort of thing, And
then Aquaman grabs like the big concrete blocks out of the thing and just kind of destroys him after that.
Yeah.
Pretty much just wrecks him, throws him off the. I thought that was funny, the way he's just like tumbling down the side of the mountain. Shit. I was like, dang, that suit must be like pretty hardcore because you're. Oh man, you'd be jello inside of there.
Yeah.
But I think that honestly, I thought the mirror part of that fight was more interesting than the Aquaman Black Manta part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It just kind of like. They went there, they figured out where they needed to go, right? And then he showed up, Yeah. And it's just like, and then they fought him off.
Well, they had a tracking device on Mira.
Yeah.
So they knew they were there.
And you know what? I'm actually wrong. He did mess up Aquaman pretty hard because, remember, Mira has to heal him. Mm-hmm. So you're right. I don't know. I was just, in the movie, I was like, I
get what you're saying.
I just don't know if this is needed, right?
Well, it's like he's not really exactly a mask for Aquaman,
No, he's a human.
Yeah, it took him the Atlantean armor and weapons to even hurt him.
Yeah,
and then it took like a moment of rage from Aquaman
to beat him.
Yeah,
I did like how they gave him the Atlantean tech, and he was like, "Nah, it's not my style."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's white, and so he paints it. It kind of reminded me of like the Batman Begins scene. Or like he paints the stuff black.
The Kevlar.
Does this come in black? That was kind of cool, and I like how it showed him messing up. You know what I mean? Like he was learning it. Mm-hmm. It showed how smart he is.
And the helmet was super small.
Yeah.
And then it like blew a hole in it whenever the laser went off.
Because it was too powerful.
I'm gonna need a bigger helmet.
And I did like how they included that in the final scene too. He's like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think. Did you think the mom was dead at all?
No.
Literally, well, that's kind of known though. Like if you know anything about Aquaman, you know, like, yeah.
I did think this in the movie.
Yeah.
Because I've watched like every trailer that's came out for it. I don't know if you have. You said you turned it off one time because it was a longer trailer.
Yeah.
And I would say. I mean, there wasn't much to spoil in this movie, but the trailers didn't show anything like give anything away in the end. Most of the trailers were like that scene, the Sicily scene, with
that's true.
All that fighting.
Yeah.
There was the circle of fire scene in some of the trailer, which was at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Some of the dialogue taken was in the beginning.
Yeah. But I think the one thing James Wan was like, I haven't spoiled everything. Is like the one thing we all knew, that his mom's not really dead.
It wasn't like a giant surprise or anything.
Yeah.
Well, they never even talked about the mom, like what happens to her in the movie.
In the movie?
In the trailer, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about the fight scenes? I think they were pretty good.
They're pretty good. James Wan has that kind of interesting thing where like his camera movements in fight scenes are very...
I can't remember the Revenant director, but it reminded me of that because it was like one long shots.
Revenant was Denis Villeneuve.
Him.
Yeah, so very long shots and very like interesting camera movements. Like at the very beginning, I knew that the fight scenes were going to be good throughout the movie when the mom is fighting off the Atlanteans. Yeah. And that scene's really cool. You know, like the dad throws her spear, and then she throws the spear, and you just like it kind of pans with it all the way across the, you know. And those aren't real one cuts because the camera movements are too clean to be real. Yeah. You know? But it gives that, and it's very interesting. It's very fun to watch. Like all the fight scenes were amazing. Yeah. I like that fight scene, and then the whole I think the
Ring of Fire one was really good.
The Ring of Fire one was very good. The
crash
submarine.
Okay, yeah, that one.
I think is up there with the Batman scene.
Dude, he was like, those dudes were dead.
If you like just watching overpowered men just destroy people because they think they're the most confident on the planet, that's pretty good. It's up there with the Batman scene. It doesn't surpass it, but it would make it on the best fights list. Yeah. I think the final fight was kind of lame.
Between Seamaster and Orm and Aquaman? Yeah. It wasn't that long.
It was just kind of
mostly talking.
I think it was interesting that he showed that he knows how to do the spinny wave shield thing.
I mean, that was cool.
It was cool. I did like how he broke his thing like Orm did in the Ring of Fire fight. Broke his trident. Yeah. That was interesting. Yeah. I think this movie's very cool, very fun to watch, right? I think my biggest problem with it is I wanted it to be like a foolproof story. Yeah. And the MacGuffin part of this story is so strong that it's literally... And you're like, the dialogue, too. Some of the dialogue hits you over the head. Like, Mira, I think at one point goes, he's Seamaster. You can't beat... I'm like, why? Seamaster? That's what we're going for? Like, I don't care if that's part of the comic book. Just leave that out. I remember when
you looked at me and like, really? You looked at me in the movie like with your...
There's a lot of eye roll.
Like your long exhale, you know? Yeah. It was after the Ring of Fire fight when she comes to rescue him. She's like, "What are you waiting for? An invitation? Get in."
I'm so glad you remembered
that. You looked at me and I was like, "Oh man."
They just delete that. Why? What is the purpose?
Say, you don't have to say anything. If you're going to say anything, say something like, "Come on.
Get in.
Get in.
Get in.
Vamos.
Let's go, dude." Yeah. It's awkward, too, because there's like a really long pause. So it's like he's sitting on the rock, she's in the boat, and she opens up the thing, and they look at each other for probably a second or two, which in a movie is forever, and then goes, "What are you waiting for?" Like, God. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that I hate when movies set up something as impossible and then immediately go and break that. For example, she goes, "No one that goes over those walls. If you make it over the walls, you'll die." Da 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 da. 6 seconds later, after the Ring of Fire fight, he's like, "I thought you couldn't get over the wall." And she goes, "Ooh." You know, there's some weird reason why she can. You know, it's like, but you don't set up something as impossible. You know, there's like this whole scene of them going into Atlantis, which is really cool. But they ruin it by them talking about the blasters and shit, and then going and break it. Just don't talk about the blasters. And as they're heading toward it, he goes, just have him say something along the lines like, "Is this safe? Like, what are we doing?" She's like, "Well, not many people can make it over this without dying." And that's better than setting up something as impossible and then fixing it 2 seconds later. Right. You know?
I did like the inclusion of like lava as a weakness for them. Yeah. You know, like if you touch that, you're dead. even for these superhuman guys, you know.
Yeah. Yep. And it makes sense because they, they're water-based people, so they're probably lava's bad.
How do you think like the costumes look?
Oh, Mira's costume is amazing. Mira, and before she gets sent down to the Lost Sea, oh God, what's it called? The Secret Sea, the hidden sea,
the hidden kingdom in the desert, or not the desert, the
hidden sea. It's in the center of the earth.
Yeah,
yeah. But like her costume at the beginning of the movie during the origin story is really good. I think they all just look good. Yeah. I think Orm's are kind of lame, but a lot of Aquaman's costumes in the comic books are kind of lame.
I really liked his in this. The
Orm's?
No, the Aquaman's.
I did, yeah, for sure. They did the green one justice.
I'd have to think about it more, but I think it's like the most accurate.
It's accurate and it's cool, which is surprising.
Yeah, it's hard to do that, man.
Exactly, because his are kind of lame sometimes.
Yeah,
But no, it's like it has good texture, good like sheen,
shine and everything.
And you know what I really liked in this movie is Mira, the actor that plays Mira, had to be losing her mind because her hair goes from soaking wet to like damp to like perfectly curled and fluffed, like all over the place. You know what I mean? Like that had to be so annoying.
Right.
Like every single scene you do. You have to get soaking wet first, and then you can do your scene. Like that has to
look like you just came out of water.
Yeah, because like when she rolls up at the beginning, she's just dripping. Like and her hair is all like soaking wet.
Because I know Jason Momoa went on Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon asked him how they did like the underwater scenes. He said, "Well, everyone tied their hair back, and they greased it, and then they put the ping pong balls on it."
Okay.
So most of all the underwater parts were all computer.
Yeah. No, I'm talking like when they go from underwater to out of water. That had to be so annoying.
Well, I'm sure they just kept it greased and just let it down,
but it's dripping.
Yeah, I'm sure they just like throw some water on it.
But you know what I bet they did?
If your hair's greased,
you know what I bet
it's not gonna like.
I bet they took a bucket and just like before every single scene, dude.
Hey, Mira.
Yeah. No, but you could definitely tell what they were doing with Mira's costumes. They're very revealing.
Well, DC has a record of that.
I'm fine with that. I mean, but yeah, her costumes are very revealing and they're good though.
Not in like a weird way. But
no, not like a Bayonetta.
That one was really weird, but
which one?
Oh
yeah, I thought that was cool though.
No, it was cool. It was just weird because it was like a bunch of jellyfish.
Yeah. But I thought that was interesting that they would, if you lived underwater, you have to use things.
What you got?
Yeah. I liked seeing Atlantis before it went underwater. That was really cool.
That was cool. It was like the rewind sort of building, the world build sort of thing.
It was kind of. I thought it was weird that they had like steampunk AT-AT walker things.
Well, this was a long time ago, and they said they had technology that no other person in the world had.
Yeah.
And that's why it caused their downfall. Yep. They were too
ambitious.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked it. Didn't, even though it had like title cards of where they are.
That was fine.
It was fine in this movie.
No, I see.
Especially because in Maine, wherever they were, like I've never heard of it. So if they just did like something Bay, I would like.
I don't mind title cards. Yeah. It's the military like
longitude, latitude.
I hate that shit.
Yeah,
it's garbage. No, I don't mind title cards.
Yeah,
and this movie is important,
especially with
they
all
go
the
to
kingdoms.
A lot of places.
All the kingdoms and then the hidden.
I thought that was interesting. I didn't know there was more people than Atlanteans. I thought it was just Atlanteans. I didn't know there was a fish kingdom, like a crustacean.
The
kingdom.
Fishermen, the brine.
Yeah, the brine is the
trench people.
The trench. God, those guys.
They look good.
They looked really good. That was I think that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
Is when they're on the boat heading to the trench because they have to go to the hidden sea, and which I have a problem with that in a minute. I'll tell you about. But
okay.
So I thought that scene was really cool. It's I think it was like I don't think James Wan meant this, but it had a good metaphor right in that scene because he uses something that he uses something from his world which is a flare, right? They don't have flares, and to help get him to where he needs to be. I think that's like a good metaphor, you know what I mean?
A good bridge between
exactly. And so she thinks it's a goner. You know, she's like, well, we're dead. You know what I mean? What are we gonna do? And he's like, well, here, watch this. You know, it was a good like scene to show that he is pretty useful and he knows what he's doing, and he has tools that they don't even think about to use. I thought that was interesting. But and the whole fight with them coming onto the ship was really cool. Just watching Mira and him just like punch, and then they dive underwater and you get to see just the sheer amount
volume
of them,
yeah.
And you get that really cool scene, which there's like it just barely shows it in the trailer, but where they're swimming down, and you just get to see all of them circling above them. That's probably one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then they go to this thing in the trench, at the bottom of the trench, and Mira goes, "It'll destroy you." And then they just go in it, and it doesn't destroy them. Once again, setting up something as, oh, you can't do that, and then fixing it 2 seconds later. It's just kind of like,
not everything's like deadly, you know?
Not everything's the end of the world. Well, I mean, like, then why'd you go down there? You know?
Yeah, like
that's
what
my
you
thing. Like, where else are you going to go? If you know it's in the hidden sea and you know the legend of the hidden sea, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm sure they tell you when you're a kid, like, hey, the hidden sea's down in the trench. You got to go in this thing. And, you know, it's like, then why even say, oh, we can't go in there? You know? It's just, I don't know. It seemed kind of strange to me.
And they couldn't exit out of it. And the only way to exit out was the trident. That's what they said in the movie.
You can't leave the sea. That's why his mom is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Yeah, but then they just skipped over them leaving it. They just got back to it.
That's true. Did they?
Actually, no. The Kraken kind of just broke out and let all of them out.
No, because he's already out by then.
But he...
Oh, he rides out on it.
Yeah. Remember, so they're in the hidden sea, which is under the sea, right? Which is near the trench. No, that's different. Trench and the brine are different. But
yeah.
So they break out from under, and then that's how they get there.
Gotcha. Yeah. I thought that was cool that he's riding the Kraken thing, whatever it's called. They had a name for it. It was something crazy.
It was voiced by like Julia Roberts or someone like that.
Wow, really?
Someone big. I'm trying to remember who. I don't think it was that.
She did a good job. I mean, whoever voiced it did a good job. Like, it's very, very creepy, but also like knowledgeable. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you could tell that it had seen some shit. You know, like it knew everything that was going on. You know, and I told you about this after the movie, but there's a part in there where she goes, You can't defeat it. I've tried it 1,000 times. And then they immediately tell them, but you have to go do it, you know? And then I'm sitting there like, you mean to tell me that your mom has tried to defeat that thing multiple times? Like, you get your ass whooped. Yeah. You would get destroyed.
I mean, even he did.
Yeah, but I don't know. But I thought it was cool that, see, this is the whole MacGuffin scene. It's like, it's cool, but it's also lame at the same time. Because it's like, the fact that the trident fixes everything bothers me. I would have much rather, bear with me, I would have much rather the trident not get broken in the Ring of Fire scene, and he keeps it, right? And then he gets what's supposed to be the trident of all, and then Orm destroys it, you know? And it's like, it shows that, like, hey, even though everyone says this is the shit, you know, it's like you are what matters.
You're the shit.
You, not the trident. The trident isn't you, you know? I just think that would have been more interesting.
Yeah, I gotcha. But that's just such a powerful thing in general.
Yeah, and
only
like,
certain people can hold it.
And it's like, it's the trident of Aquaman, so you can't like destroy it. I get where they're coming from, but it just seems very
You would have liked something, him proving he doesn't need it first.
Yes. I
that makes sense.
I don't want the MacGuffin to fix everything. Like they do this a lot in DC. Like Superman does the exact same thing in Justice League. You know, like the Justice League can't fight by themselves. So then they just go get the most overpowered character in all of DC to help them. And then once again, they're getting their ass kicked in the final fight until he shows up. Yeah. You know? It's like, well, yeah, you just kind of, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It just seems to be a common thread in DC movies but this movie's not as bad. I would say this is by the second best DC movie, period.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I think it's fun. It's
fun.
A good movie.
I thought it was really funny.
I thought it was too. There are some really funny scenes. Mm-hmm. You know what I find really funny that is not supposed to be funny at all?
What?
Is the ship.
Which ship?
The ships that they fly in.
Oh.
That they. No, but like the thing is like it's like a block of water, and whenever it opens, it just goes, just like soaks them up. It's hilarious. Yeah. I find it so funny.
That is funny. Why do they need that in the first place?
I don't know.
Oh well.
I would say it's probably like equivalent to running, and like they can swim, right?
Yeah.
And they can swim fast, but the ocean's huge, and it's probably tiring to swim at full speed at all times. Yeah. You know? I'm fine with it. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I thought the same thing, but then I was like, who cares?
Right.
Like, you know, if you're gonna get irked over something, get irked over like, you know, the plot being kind of lame and the dialogue being lame. Don't get irked over, you know, some ship underwater. Yeah. I would say.
I mean, besides, like, I honestly enjoyed it. Like,
no, I had fun.
The only thing, like, it just made me cringe a lot with the dialogue, and I was like, oh man, as such a big Aquaman fan, I felt bad for some people. Be like, oh, let's give this a try, and then some. What are you waiting for? An invitation? Get in. I was like, oh, man.
Luckily,
you're making me look bad.
I will say, luckily, most of the bad dialogue scenes didn't come from Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
So his character's still intact.
Mm-hmm.
I would say
he's great.
I would say his mom, King Orm, and Mira. Mira's good, but those three dialogue are pretty bad. You know who I thought was like the second best character in the whole movie?
William Dafoe.
Is he
He's like the guy that trained him.
Okay, yeah, I forget his name. He has a name.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Morvo?
Yeah. Huh? Morvo or something?
Morvo? Yeah, something like that. Orville
Redenbacher. I don't know.
I think he's like the second best person in the movie.
Well, he's a really good actor.
Yeah, he's solid in this. Like, solid. Oh, God.
What?
I just looked up the cast. Guess what they have Patrick Wilson, a.k.a. Orm, listed under?
Ocean Master?
Yeah.
Well, that's who he is.
Volko.
Orvo.
Ocean Master. That's so lame.
Yeah.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
It was good.
My dad asked me if I should see it. I was like, yeah. You'll enjoy it. Because he really liked, not like cheesy movies, but like, he's not like going to go see a movie because it's got a great critic score or something, you know?
No, I mean, he likes the Fast and Furious movies and the Transformer movies, stuff like that, which is fine. Those are all popcorn movies, and I'm fine with that. It's just kind of like, I just don't know if it's sustainable, you know?
Right.
Obviously, Transformers is not sustainable because
Bumblebee apparently is really good.
But the reason is because they got rid of the director. You know what I mean? They were like, "Listen, this is getting bad."
Monotonous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it may be making money, but like our critic score is just plummeting, and people are not showing up. Because I showed up for the first 3 Transformers religiously, and then after that, I was like, "Never again."
Speaking of, Aquaman's made a lot of money already.
That's good. I want DC to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to reboot because I feel like if they just wipe it and reboot,
Well, do you think this is a step in the right direction for DC compared to where it was?
I would say it's 64% a step in the right direction. I think they have a lot to fix, but I think they're getting there.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it's made a lot of money, which you couldn't say about Justice League. They didn't make a lot. Batman Superman didn't make a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have. Wonder Woman didn't make a whole
Pretty sure
lot.
Batman Superman made a lot of money. I think it made almost $1 billion.
That's right.
But that's because
it was Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, so it made a lot of money before people figured out that it's bad. Let's see. Aquaman box office. Let's see what.
Because I know it was winning over Bumblebee and Mary Poppins. Flounders. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Fish pun.
That is a piss pun. It said it made 67, which actually isn't that much. Okay, here we go. There it is. 483 million worldwide. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It came out in China before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I also think, how many people are going to the movies this time of year?
A lot. This is actually more than any time
So
else.
you think it would have made more or less money if it came out in the summer?
In the summer?
Uh-huh. Because I would say summer and Christmas are the biggest two movie times.
I think it would make about the same in the summer.
Okay.
I think summer needs more word of mouth because people are doing stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So to like get them to stop there every day. But like holidays is like movie perfect because everybody's just off, hanging out with their families. Like I'm sure there are a ton of people at the movies today.
Probably.
Like a ton. And tomorrow is actually one of the biggest days for movies, period. Because people just go to see the movies on Christmas Day. Yeah. After they get done with their Christmas
today's
meal
Christmas.
Oh. But yeah, I just don't know, man.
I mean, it was winning at the box office. I know anyway.
72 million. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Domestic. It's pretty good.
I mean, I think if you start with a solid movie or a decent movie, better than what came before it, and it's making money, you know, it means it's not dead.
No, this is like you asked, is a step in the right direction. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. They just got to fix some of their problems. They need to get, like, I understand this. Okay, I think the reason the plot is so bad in this is because it's an origin movie. And origin movies, okay, it's not really an origin movie, but it is. Like, it shows his life from a kid training all the way up to when he becomes king. So it's an origin movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's why the plot is so bad, because it's formulaic. It just does.
It's got to introduce a lot.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it does. It does exactly what you think it's going to do the whole time. You know, and then including the trident thing really irks me.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Never mind. You can't. I mean, what if we didn't know the trident was in it going in? What if we had no idea the trident was in it? So what if they just showed us scenes and get this, what if they digitally replaced the trident in the final scene so you had no idea his real trident was there? Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a CGI suit, so put him in his regular suit in the final fight scenes if they want to show it in the trailer, right? And the parts where he steps out of the waterfall, just get rid of that. I think that makes this more interesting.
Maybe. Yeah. I think like this, you could have done a Force Awakens kind of trailer, just show things but don't
tell anything.
Don't tell anything, you know. I think you could have still got people to come.
Yeah, for sure. And because I think the thing about the trident is the whole first half of the movie to me is the best part, but it's not needed because we all know what's happening. We all know what's going to happen. We all know they're going to find the trident.
Yeah.
This movie, you know what? I just thought this movie really is kind of really funny at some points. Like, you remember when I like that Mira has control of water. That's a really cool touch. And we haven't talked about him being able to control sea creatures yet, which I think is also good and bad. Like, there's scenes where it's used really well, and there's scenes that is super fucking lame. But what's it called? Her being able to control the water, and she pulls like the sweat out of him to activate the key, which also that was a good touch. It's like, duh, it's a water-based society that you would need water to make things work, right? And I like how they don't like try to explain it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the electrolytes. No, just it needs water, friend. And he's like, well, you could have just pissed on it. That was funny, but I don't know. I think leaving out the whole trident thing and really doing like a bait and switch on us,
right?
Like Marvel did with the eye in
Thor.
Ragnarok, would just be cool.
Right. So I'm when you said that, I'm thinking of the trident stuff. Part of the reason he had to go get the trident is because Orm has convinced most of the other kingdoms of Atlantis
that he's the king.
Yeah. And then if he can get the trident, it'll change everybody's mind.
Yep.
Sort of thing. Prove that he's the true king or whatever.
See, they set that up really well. They're like, well, you don't need the trident to prove that you need the trident to prove to the people that you're the real king.
Yeah, the people that you'll be king of.
But then it actually turns out that Aquaman also needs the trident to prove to him that he's the real king.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like a MacGuffin and kind of not at the same time. I don't know.
It's just the biggest flaw in the movie, and that's why we keep talking about it. It's without.
I would say the dialogue's the biggest flaw, but
that's true. A lot of the dialogue has to do with the trident, though. Like the whole scene in the Hidden Sea with the mom and Mira is them just talking about.
It was set up right before the final act. That's really what that scene was for.
Yeah, and the love stuff. Love stuff is pretty lame. Like there's a guy that
I was cheering for him. I ship it. Is that what it's called?
I do too. I like it, but it's some of the lovey-dovey stuff is kind of lame.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All
right, him being able to control sea creatures. I think it's really cool in the scene with where he's trying to get the trident. I think it's the best version of it because she's like, "Oh shit, wait a minute, you can talk to me."
Hold up. Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, "What is this? I've never experienced this." And then I think the scene at the end where he calls all the dolphins and everything to help him, that's super cool. You know what I'm talking about? The final fight scene. I think the scene that we saw in the trailers over like 1,000 times
as a kid,
getting bullied. You know what I mean? Just kid actors, man. I just don't know. He's just like, ooh, you know what I mean? Just like, ooh, look how cool I am. And nobody was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know? Everyone's just like, oh yeah, that's cool. He can talk to animals, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think that was really needed.
Do you want to know another time that I looked over at you, not in like rolled my eyes, but like kind of disbelief, like, wait a minute, what?
What?
Do you remember? I also have a problem with this, but do you remember when Orm attacks the surface world and they're driving home after seeing giant thing? There is okay, listen, waves are not silent, okay? You would hear that shit from a mile away. It would sound like a train coming in. Right? And they're just driving, and all of a sudden the camera pans, and there's this
humongous,
massive wave coming, you know? I looked over at you like, what? Where did that came out of nowhere. It was a good scene.
Yeah.
And I like how Mira saved his dad and everything like that. That was cool, you know, because that showed Aquaman like, no, she's really there to help you. You shouldn't be a dick to her, you know. But man, was that jarred me so hard. I was like, what? Out of nowhere.
Right.
I also have a problem with the whole Orm attacking the surface world. It's like it happens once, and then just not discussed again.
Discussed by who?
Well, okay, so it's like he attacked. He primarily
sent it as a warning.
Yep.
And then he wanted them to, like, he sent back all the garbage and stuff that's been stuck in the ocean.
So you're supposed to fear. We're supposed to be afraid that he's going to destroy the surface world, and then it just never escalates past that point.
I understand. It never got brought up again.
He just tries to take over the ocean at that point and get all the seven.
He's reclaiming the ocean.
Yeah, he's trying to get all seven.
He sent back all the warships.
That was awesome. Like, I thought that was really cool that he sent like the warships, you know, because that makes sense. Yep. And he sent all the trash and everything. And I like how he's talking about how, you know, like they poison us, they poison our kids and stuff. I get all that, and I don't think it hits. I don't think it like smacked you over the head with like, you know, like some racial tie movies do that a lot.
Right.
You know, where they just hit you over the head like, you've wronged us, or, you know, you're poisoning the planet, or you know,
turning the frogs gay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but this movie didn't really do that. But then I don't know. It just had one scene showing his might, and his power and his threat to the surface world, and then never talked about it again.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
That was about it.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, it's really good. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was 10 times better than any. You know, even though they did the whole MacGuffin thing, they did it a lot better than Transformers.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, because the one like, I got this, and now I got the MacGuffin, and now I can just
No, he still has to prove himself.
Yeah, because he still had to beat Orm with it.
And he doesn't just destroy Orm in that final scene. I mean, he's getting beat up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I would say it's more interesting that we know what it is. That it's like the trident of Aquaman, right. Yeah. The trident of Atlantis. Whereas in a lot of the Transformers movie, I keep saying that, but they're like the worst example.
Worst.
The best or worst example of that. And in those movies, they're like, we need the Allspark. It's like, well, it's a cube, and we don't know what that is unless you're like a hardcore fan.
The only thing it did was kill someone.
It creates and kills life, but for the Transformers.
Yeah.
And then it does that subsequently for movies to on. You need the sword to control the dragons and stuff. It's like,
yeah,
none of these things we care about. We don't care about. At least in this, we're like, we want to see the trident. We want to see him get it.
All right, let's see if we can name these. Allspark, Matrix of Leadership, Merlin's sword.
No, it's the.
It's not Merlin.
In the third one, it's the little thing. It looks like a little
dagger.
Like a little dagger.
I thought that was the leadership one.
Oh boy.
I thought I was just doing the ones I could think of.
Okay.
And then there's the teleporter ones.
Yep.
The bridge. It's a bridge thing.
Yep. What's the latest one? Is it the dude?
The last one was the sword one, right?
Okay.
Age of Extinction?
Age of Extinction was it Age of Extinction the last one?
I don't know.
No, the last one was when what's his face goes bad.
Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Night.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a MacGuffin in it though.
Yeah, there is.
I should Google that. All the MacGuffins in Transformers movies.
I'm sure it'll come up.
I'm sure it will.
All right, you want to rate this movie?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
So, let's do boner score.
Yeah, I was excited. We went midnight release, so. Midnight release at 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, and yeah, right. They used to actually do real midnight releases, but nope. I'd say yeah. I still tell people, like, my parents really want to go see it, and they asked me, should we go? And I was like, yeah, you should go.
Mm-hmm.
And another person was like, one of Megan's friends, it's a girl, and she was like, I love Jason Momoa. I was like, you'll fucking love this movie. He's shirtless like 90% of the time. You know what I mean? Like, he is. Yeah. You will love this. If you're a girl and you're going just to see like Jason Momoa be hot, you'll be all over this, because he's literally like, you know what I mean? He's shirtless basically the whole movie. Yeah. Whereas like Thor, people freak out over the Thor scene where he's shirtless for like 2 seconds. It's like, yeah, whatever. Girls, go out there. Get your shirtless Jason Momoa. Good on you. That's why my mom likes it. I was like, ooh. Cinematography? Oh. She just cringed.
Yeah, it looked
No, yeah, it does. It looks really good. Like I said, I think the only flaw in the cinematography is like the final battle scene, but it's also a strength for it. Like, it looks really good, but there are some parts it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Get a little crazy here. Rewatchability?
Let's see it again. Okay, well,
I don't think it has very good rewatchability. Okay, it's 2 hours and blank long, and I think it loses. I think it'll lose a lot of steam the second time you watch it, because you're just watching it set up them getting something.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you don't seem to. Overall impressions?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'd give it
it was more than 50. That's our rule.
For sure. Engagement?
Yeah, I was engaged.
Story.
I mean, Aquaman's story, and it was fine. That's what we're basing off of, right?
I don't think it was 50% bad.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So I would agree. It's got a story. I would say the rewatchability is 50% bad. Like, okay. I have no intentions of seeing this again in a year. I have all intentions of buying Spider-Man on DVD and watching it. And I had all intentions of watching Infinity War again after. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got you.
I would say yeah. Okay, so that's 4 out of 6. That's pretty good.
4 out of 6.
I think
Which two did not get rewatchability?
And oh, never mind. Hold on. No, it's 5 out of 6. I apologize.
5 out of 6.
Just didn't get rewatchability.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've actually been thinking we should probably change one of these.
Okay, 2.
I think we should change mind.
What is mind?
So I think we should make soul engagement and then make mind acting.
Okay, that's fair.
We won't do it now because you'll lose another 4. No, I'm just kidding. You might not. I think there's enough good actors in this that it saves it. Like Willem Dafoe's really good. Ocean Master's really good. You know what I mean? He's like he's big and he's boisterous.
Mm-hmm.
I think the mom is really good except for that one scene.
Yeah.
Aquaman's good. I would say just like there's a lot of dialogue in this that is just garbage.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. That's good. 5 out of 6. That's probably the highest that any DC movie would get.
Yeah.
For sure. Except for, I think
Wonder
Woman would equal 5 out of 6 with it.
Yeah. All right. What's next? 8 for debate.
Yeah.
Cool. This is a pretty cool one. I thought of it yesterday. Last minute as usual. So today we're doing, should more comic book movies be animated? Not necessarily the same way as Into the Spider-Verse, but just in general, animated. And it's a yes or no, and I let Will pick his, and you said yes.
Yeah, I want yes.
Okay, so I'm fighting with no, and I will go first this week.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Are you excited to fight no?
Huh?
Are you excited to fight no?
At first I wanted yes, but then when I started thinking about it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll take no.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I think there's good arguments for both sides on this.
There is. That's why I like this one so much.
Okay.
So I have no, and there's a couple like bullet points on a hit. So like one is obviously the copycat factor, because seeing the success of this one, how good it is, people will be like, oh. Like Sony, for instance, like they could easily say, this looks so good. That's why it got such good like results at the box office.
So they just think the visual style is what made it good, not the actual story elements.
Yeah. So they can be like, all right, we'll just do our next, like, our Venom 2 we'll make animated or something like that. That's just an instance they shouldn't do that, especially since the first one's live action.
Yeah, yeah.
And the second thing is,
well, they just shouldn't make another Venom.
No. I got a burp. Hold on.
Nice.
Thanks.
Bless you.
All right. The second point I want to make is I don't believe there's another character in comic books you could make as good of an animated movie as Spider-Man. Because we've seen Spider-Man so many times, you needed something different. And animation and Miles Morales is a really good reason to do something animated.
I will agree with you that there are very few that would be good animated besides Spider-Man. He fits animation very well.
Yeah. And like Aquaman, for instance. I think this would have looked really stupid if it was animated. Aquaman, you know?
But this isn't... this isn't asking, should all comic book movies be animated?
Should more. And I'm saying, like...
So we can still have our live action.
Yeah,
but where it's applicable, we could put in our animated. I can explain where those would be good.
Mm-hmm. But I was like, my first point is, it would be plagued even if it's not as a copycat by some, you know, just because Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse was an animated comic book movie, which, are there really any other ones? Like real comic book ones? I mean, like Big Hero 6 might be, but I don't know. But who really talks about that anymore? So, like, anything after this that comes out, like if something comes out next year that's animated and it's a Marvel movie or a DC movie, you would be like, we'd have to compare it to Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
So, That's what.
Okay, what are some of your favorite shows as a kid that are animated?
I mean, like SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, stuff like that. Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, you remember those shows, the old Batman the Animated Series and Teen Titans?
Yeah.
Those are both
But
animated.
we have an animated Teen Titans movie.
Yeah, that's different.
Is it?
It is a little different because we all know we don't like. Well, okay, some of us don't like the direction that Teen Titans has taken with the Teen Titans Go. And if you put my argument into the hands of studios, they're probably gonna ruin it, right? But after seeing Into the Spider-Verse, right? There's so much freedom with animation, right? You don't want to push it to the limits. But, like, there are stories that they could tell and animate them and make them worthy. So for example, with the MCU and the DCEU, they're very set into their universe. Like, they can't mess with it very much.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And animation allows you to just pull out characters that you really want to play with and do some interesting stuff with.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Spider-Man. That, like Sony's like, Spider-Man in the live action is really set in stone, like where he's going to go, what he can do, what he's capable of. I think a perfect example of something that needs to be animated, because right now it's too rigid, like its character is too rigid, and the character has so much movement, like so many places that it could go.
Right.
But in the live action, it's just stuck. Is Flash.
Oh, okay.
Flash has this wild, crazy world of things that he can do and different characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you could do almost the exact same thing you did with Spider-Man, but with Flash, you could go into what's it called? The Speed Force, and explore the different universes of the Speed Force, And that would get Flash out of his just, like, rigid, like... If they do anything with him in the movies, he will break the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can travel through time. He can fix everything, And so you just pull him out, you make him animated, and you can do something interesting with him. And you can also, because it's animation, you can make him look good. Because in the movies right now, his running does not look very good at all.
Yeah, even the suit you could make look better.
Exactly.
And enemies.
Some of the
He's got some weird enemies too.
Some of the best versions of Flash are animated, like the Justice League Flash and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into Marvel. I think Marvel could do so much because they have so many characters that are just kind of forgotten about. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you could. And everyone thinks animation needs to be this kid-friendly, nice thing. Imagine we pull like Batman and make a dark animation. You know what I mean? Like make it really dark and gritty.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are some like animated Batman things that have came out in the last couple of years.
Yeah, but they're not on the forefront. They're not on
well, they're like TV budget.
Exactly.
Stuff.
They're not up here with like Into the Spider-Verse
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. I think if you really, and I think you could also get away with that because animated movies are cheaper and easier to make. Not animating's very hard, but you get what I'm saying. They're cheaper.
Yeah.
They're not these huge $400 million budget movies.
Right.
So you can run the risk of giving them an R rating and make them for the adults,
Uh-huh.
Whereas we know for a fact that studios don't like to do that because the two comic book movies I can think of that have come out that have been R-rated have been the Deadpool series and Logan,
Mm-hmm.
Fox seems to be the only people that want to do it. Well, Marvel might be able to put out an animated version of one of their characters and make it dark and gritty and make it R-rated and give the adults something to watch. And making an animation gives them that freedom to do that.
Right.
But I agree with what you're saying that, like, I'm afraid people are going to copy the Into the Spider-Verse thing.
Right.
They just think, oh, okay. Well, actually, the company that does that goes, well, they did it, we can do it. Actually made it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So if Marvel copies it, they're going to do it well. You know what I mean? And actually, Marvel is in association with them, so that it wouldn't even be copying. It would just be using their own franchise.
Yeah.
But
do you want a different superhero with the same design and everything?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And you got to think, when you think superhero, most people are going to think Spider-Man right away.
Oh, for sure. He's definitely the most iconic superhero there is.
And I think that
Besides
design...
Batman.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to go all in, like a comic book sort of movie, like Spider-Verse, Spider-Man's the perfect one to do. It's hard to do other heroes like that.
Well, there's a lot of different types of animation.
There is, but...
Like, think of WALL-E. You know how WALL-E is like 3D, but it looks realistic? It's not like curved edges like Up or anything like that. Like, it looks good, you know? So, I mean, you don't have to make it super cartoony or super...
But if you just hear there's an animated DC movie coming out next year...
Okay.
You're automatically going to, like...
My initial thought is to write it off as being a kid's movie and not very good, which is exactly what I did with Into the Spider-Verse, but we've been proven wrong.
Oh, heck yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is a tough one, but I think
it's a good one. Good argument.
I think there's a lot of ways it could hurt the comic book movie, and I think there's, if it's done right, could help. Like,
it could definitely help expand comic book movies in general, because there's a lot of stuff you couldn't do in live action. Like, most of the Spider-Verse you couldn't do in live-action movies. Think of the Scorpion or Penny Parker. Could you imagine that in live action?
It would look awful.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of just
or Peter
funny...
Porker.
There's a lot of funny scenes that would just be, like, too graphic. Like, you remember when he's whipping... Like, he's... Peter B. Parker is knocked out, and he's just like hitting cars.
Yeah.
If you did that in live action, that would be incredibly too gruesome. You know, just having this body flopping around, hitting cars and stuff. It's just, you know.
Yeah. Do you have any idea of a comic book that would work in an animated thing?
The Flash, and like a specific comic book.
Oh, not. I meant like a character, comic book character.
I think the Flash is good. I think Batman's good. You just have to do it right. I mean,
it's just hard with Batman because we've seen like peak Batman movie, like the trilogy, you know, and then we've seen all the stuff before, and we've seen some stuff after.
But that's the beauty of animation and like movies in general is that they don't all have to be the same.
The thing about Spider-Verse, it's Spider-Man, which has been told 1,000 times, but it's Miles Morales,
it's done
where it's different. It's done differently.
Well, then do Batman different. Imagine a Batman
like a Terry McGinnis. Batman Beyond.
I was just about to say, imagine a Batman Beyond series, you know?
Yeah, like that could be great.
Yeah, just imagine they don't remake it, but do the same kind of Batman the Animated Series animation.
Yeah.
But imagine what they could do with that today. I mean, it would look super clean, very nice, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What else? You said who else? I think...
Like, what if Marvel did...
I think Guardians of the Galaxy...
I could, but theirs looks so good as it is.
No, I'm not saying take that away. I'm just saying, and animation doesn't always just equal movies. Or did you say do we need more movies?
I was just talking movies.
Okay,
but literally, like right before I had an idea, like what if they did, the Defenders, Marvel Defenders, brought it back as a TV animated,
and just kept it as dark as it is. That would be really cool. You know.
Because I was trying to remember, there's something like Batman Dark, Batman Ninja, or something like that.
Those have come out lately.
Yeah.
Ninja had an interesting art style. Batman Ninja apparently has a really interesting art style.
Yeah. I've seen Dark, Batman Dark. It was fine.
I like the animated stuff. It's like, it's a good little departure from like, you know? You can just do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. And voice acting is a lot easier for...
Yeah, and I think actors would be... Like, let's say they made a universe out of this, right? Like, I think Chris Pine and
people will be more inclined to do it.
More inclined to come back.
It doesn't take, like, a year in a bat suit to film, you know?
So, you know, like, the problem they're having right now with like, Chris Evans and stuff is, like, he's been doing this for so long, he wants to get out and do something else, you know? It's like, well, this animated movie, you can call him, he can spend a month on it, and then he can go right back to whatever he was working on it before.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I just think there's no reason not to have more, except for the fact that, like you said, they could mess it up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I went and saw Into Spider-Verse again 2 days ago.
Yeah?
Brooke really liked it.
Was it good a second time?
Oh, it's fantastic.
I want to go see it again so bad.
Yeah.
I'll probably go see it again after the holidays.
Yeah. So good.
It should be out for a while because it's like pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually curious what Into the Spider-Verse did.
Oh, money-wise?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Well, between us, it's been seen 3 times. So.
Between us?
Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah, I've been word of mouthing it as well.
Oh yeah, same. Because I went to my grandma's to do Christmas Saturday before we went to the movie, and my dad asked like, "What are we doing? What are y'all doing after this?" I was like, "Well, we're going to the movies." And he's like, "What are you going to see?" I was like, "Spider-Man." He's like, "Again?" And my uncle, he's seen it, and he was like, he said like that's one of his top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah.
And we were talking to everyone else there about it.
Good.
How good it is.
It's made 129 million worldwide.
Wow.
But the budget was 90 million.
Profit.
Not huge profit.
Yeah.
But it should keep going.
Yeah.
What was Aquaman's budget?
Oh boy.
Oh,
You said how much it made? 460 million?
Yeah. Let's see what Aquaman's budget was. Not applicable. Okay. Budget. I bet it's huge. 200 million.
So it's doubled. Right?
200 million. That seems low. Or not low, but like...
You'd think it'd be higher from all the underwater stuff.
Guess what other movie had literally about the exact same budget?
Infinity War.
DC.
Oh,
Infinity War probably had $200 million in paying their actors.
Justice League because of the mustache and stuff.
No, Justice League was huge.
Oh, that's what I thought we were talking.
Suicide Squad had just about the same budget. If you want to talk about using a budget to like better,
yeah,
Aquaman is much better than Suicide Squad. Yeah. All right, what's our list for next week, man? Unless do you have an unpopular opinion?
No, not really.
You have a sleeper?
Not really. Just been watching more Psych.
Yeah, Psych.
Mm-hmm.
I've been rewatching Game of Thrones. It's so good.
Cool.
So I've just been smashing episodes. Like I looked up the other day, I'm on season 2, episode 9, which doesn't sound like that much because I was on the end of season 1 last time we talked.
Mm-hmm.
But these episodes are like an hour and 15 minutes long, so they're like movies each.
That did remind me. I watch MythBusters now since it's on Hulu.
Same. I was doing that the other night. Thanks for telling me about that.
And I learned something cool because they did something about Christmas trees.
Uh-huh.
And if you have a real tree and you spray hairspray on it, it'll keep the needles on.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So it was confirmed?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the best method that they had.
Well, shoot, I'm going to do that next year.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem. Just be careful with up in flames. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, did they test if it made it more flammable? Like,
no, they just did they had a bunch of trees and a bunch of different methods, and then hairspray worked the best.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. I don't know why that reminded me, because it's Christmas.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, if you guys like MythBusters and you don't know, Adam Savage has his own YouTube channel. It's called Tested. If you like doing things with your hands, like building things or crafting or something like that, you will love that channel because Adam is that's all he does now.
Right.
He's filthy rich. He's so
well, the
rich.
amount of money they had to spend on that show to do all their builds and stuff.
Yeah, I was watching it the other day and they were just like, as a kid you just kind of play it off, but as an adult you're like, that's $1,000. That's $1,000. Like they probably paid those people like $12,000 to, You're like, geez, Luis.
There was one I turned it on as I went to sleep last night, and there was one they had a expert, like a nose expert.
Yeah.
They had they obviously had to pay to be on there.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah,
it was the smell of fear. They were trying to see if there's such thing as a smell of fear, and they had to hire someone that has an expert nose or whatever. They can
probably
smell
paid him
things.
like $600 and just said, "Whoop."
Yeah, they have to pay all these people.
My thing is when they go to the bomb
places.
range.
Yeah,
they have to pay those guys a lot because
they have to rent out the whole thing because they can't have other people there.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not nice to have Jim Bob blowing shit up 30 meters down the course. So what's our next?
So
list?
we're doing. Well, it's our awards. So we're doing our top, 5 or 10 movies of the year.
That's
5.
Right.
We'll do top 5 movies of the year.
And then we got a whole bunch of other things to
We'll do a bunch of awards and, worsts.
Yep. All right. Cool. Sounds good.
And then...
And if I see what's it called between there, I'll give my opinion on that.
Bumblebee?
Bumblebee, yeah.
Okay. Coolio.
I'm excited to see it, though.
Sweet.
All right. Adios.
See ya.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.